I'm CWO4 Victor Pinion, U.S. Navy retired, telling some stories of my naval career. Well, this one, the title of it is Attitude. Your attitude is developed over your lifetime based on your experiences, your education, and so forth. I've written a number of point papers and lesson plans on attitude, and this is one of my point papers, so I will be looking down at it periodically. My references for this attitude lesson are the book Win Every Day by Coach Lou Holtz. Love that man. He was a professional football coach, college football coach. He coached Notre Dame, I think, for 17 years. Very successful coach. And some other point papers written by me and life experiences. Those are my reference sources, okay? Now I'll start off by giving a little ditty that I was impressed by. Attitude is 100%. One little fact about how a good attitude ranks can be demonstrated by applying a progressive numerical factor to the letters of the alphabet. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, through 26, Z. By doing that, the word attitude adds up the numerical factors for the letters in the word attitude. That adds up to 100. It's 100%. So that is 1, 20, 29, 20, 21, 4, and 5. That adds up to 100. Okay. You pay attention. There is no more than 100%, because 100% is all there is. If you fill a water glass full of water, brim full, it's 100% full. Now, is it possible to pick it up and drink some of that water? You're probably going to spill some. So the normal fill level of that glass is a little bit below the brim. So the glass is really at its normal full level so that you can pick it up and drink it without spilling any. Bear that in mind as you consider attitude. So its normal fill level is 100%, okay? Not brim full, because that's not manageable. You'll spill some. Unless you'd use some above board things like take a straw and suck a little off the top. It's possible to do that without spilling any. So you can, using special caution and procedures, exceed 100%. You can. It's possible. Although 100% is all there is. Okay. Okay, now, for you, in your daily activities, your job, you're living your life, your family, managing your assets, your resources, pay, income, savings account, whatever. You pay attention to those things. You pay attention to all of them. And you do it conscientiously. They're on your mind. You think about them. That's part of your attitude. Your attitude is toward paying attention to everything that concerns you. Now I'm going to use an example sea story that I told an abbreviated version of it. I reported aboard as my first officer assignment after I was commissioned warrant officer, the Naval Air Station Moffett Field. And I was given the transit line, aircraft transit line, the crash crew, and runway support, and base taxi driver functions that had all been combined into one division to make do during an undermanning crisis that the whole Department of Defense was experiencing. This transit line crew, they were called, was known as the most screwed up outfit on the base. But it was made up of second tour, mostly second class petty officers, E5s, with one E6 as the leading petty officer. What I did for for my first 3 weeks was I introduced myself, and I paid attention to them to identify their problem areas and whatnot. But my very first day there, one of the problems was 2 men from the oncoming duty section were over an hour late arriving to work. I talked with the leading petty officer about it. He said, that's common. Somebody from the outgoing section would stay here until they get in. I said, well, it's not coming anymore. I require everybody to be at quarter for muster every morning. No exceptions. If you're alive, you're here. I want to see those 2 men when they arrive. Well, they arrived, and I talked with them, asked them, and they tap danced around, excuse after excuse, and I finally told them, look, you guys, the reason you didn't get here in time is you didn't really want to. You didn't leave home in time to get here in time. Well, let this be the last time. Do not be late again. Let that be a warning to you. I will not accept it. You know what? They were not. Well, I went on, and like my 3rd day there, we took our big fancy welcome to Naval Air Station Moffett Field passenger aircraft boarding ladder over to the Aviation Intermediate Maintenance Department for his normal preventive maintenance inspection. Well, it had 3 components about it that didn't work. The lights didn't work, the brakes didn't work, and the height adjustment for different height aircraft flight decks didn't work. You couldn't change it. They kept that boarding ladder for 2 days and called and said, okay, come get your boarding ladder. We did. They had done nothing to it. Nothing. They had not done the preventive maintenance inspection. They had not corrected the discrepancies that we had told them about. So I took it back over there. And I talked with them. I found out they had an attitude problem. They weren't involved. About the only person that knew about that boarding ladder coming over there was the person that was in charge of the schedules. Is a 2nd-class office worker. 2nd-class petty officer. The leading petty officer, the chief, division officer, they weren't involved. They didn't care. Nothing had been done to the boarding ladder. So I sought each one of them out, and they still didn't seem to be caring. I was just some warrant officer complaining, just somebody bitching. Well, yes, sir, I surely am, and you're on report. So I did put them on report. I went to talk to their department head, the AMD commander. Now I went to talk with my department head, who was also the operations department commander. It got their attention, and the executive officer and commanding officer were notified of the situation. Well, all of a sudden, they started paying a lot of attention to us. Whatever we needed got done. Well, we had lots of pieces of yellow gear, aircraft support equipment, in bad condition because it hadn't been maintained properly for years. It all got overhauled back to new condition. Well, I reorganized the line shack, set up a duty coordinator watch station with a desk, a tool control system, a technical publication library, drew up a great big status board or scale model ramp of the aircraft parking ramp outside, which was on a scale of 1 inch equals 25 feet. Got model airplanes that they use on aircraft carrier flight decks and drew up some others from the tech pubs to that same 1 inch equals 25 feet scale. Mounted all the phones, communications equipment on the coordinator's desk and established a routine. Well, it worked extremely well. I established a training qualification program for that line crew. It worked extremely well. We went from being known as the worst division on that base to the best one on the base in every category, and as the best aircraft transit line crew that many transit aircraft commanders and crew chiefs had ever seen anywhere in their lives. And they told me that. I would come to work in the mornings and I would find letters of appreciation from some aircraft crew chief or pilot complimenting some specific member of the crew, or the whole crew is really outstanding. during the day, they would have a man brought to me, and they would compliment me on having a fine line crew. Okay, that's the end of part 1 of this attitude lesson. Y'all carry on.